Wonderful. And I know there's been a lot of talk on telly lately about Wimbledon not being in the rankings, but we here at Wimbledon Spiritualist Church still class ourselves as a very strong progressive spiritualist church. So I'm not worried what's going on down the road at Wimbledon Park. Friends, we have a wonderful meeting with us today. I'm slightly biased about him. It's my son, or our son. I think I was there. Our son, Ashley Robinson, is going to be our medium today. And we've also got one of my grandsons here, Noah. He's going to perhaps say a little prayer in a moment. He's feeling a bit shy at the moment, but he keeps asking his dad. And we bid you a warm and loving welcome today. So I hope you have a wonderful time with us this morning. I now hand over to Ashley, who's going to do a prayer.
Your hands together, please. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. God our Father, I've come to say thank you for my love today. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Well done. We'll make a Catholic spiritualist of him yet. So, friends, I just want to do a bit more of an opening prayer with you, and join me as we invoke the assistance of the great architect of the universe. As we sit together, let us lay aside the day and test and unite in prayer. We seek the peace and love of Mother, Father, God upon what we are about to do. We seek that divine presence to guide us during the service, to bring forth our loved ones, our family, and our helpers from heaven. And may they offer us messages of hope and comfort when we attempt to contact them, and they show us that life continues beyond that change we call death. We seek a blessing upon this church and all who have gathered, both seen and unseen. So mote it be. Amen.
Sorry, friends. Keeping that prayerful thought, we now turn our prayers to healing. Healing of mind, body and spirit. Healing for those in need. Healing for the world. And also healing for ourselves. This morning we pray for Amber, Jill, Ashley, Jackie, Caroline, Adam, Rocco, Charlie, Rob, Marion and another Rob, Mark Denver, Cassandra, Zuzu, Jane, Babs, Ruby Robinson, Anthony and Tony. Into thy hands, O Lord, we commend their spirits and their souls for healing, for the divine healing, where the angels come close and heal them according to divine law. We ask this prayer and peace in thy name. Amen. Friends, let's now say together the Serenity Prayer, which will come up on screen. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you. I'm now going to ask George to go around with the collection plate. And for those of you online, you can pay a donation to Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, which is on www.paypal.com/PayPalMe/LAD Promotions. LAD Promotions is the promotional arm of the Wimbledon Spiritualist Church. And the money will come straight here to the work of the church. We now have some adverts.
This afternoon from 4 p.m, join us for a live and interactive chat show, The Sunday Sofa. Hosts Polly Harnett and Jane Morton answers your questions while offering free readings and advice. Tomorrow morning from 11 a.m, join us for our live and interactive brunch show with Alison Barton and Dawn Collinson. Each week they introduce a different guest while Dawn offers free mediumship readings. Tomorrow night from 8 a.m, join Matt and Kirsty Grogan for their spiritual advice show. Those who ask the best questions will be offered mediumship or oracle card readings.
Thank you, George, and thank you those who've donated online. And I'm glad we had the adverts. I see quite a few people here looking at the adverts, so that's great and wonderful. Say hello to a few names on screen. Nicola Humphreys, good morning and welcome to Wimbledon Church. James Fonelli, hello James, I hope you're well, keeping safe. Leslie, good morning. Leslie Moulton is our medium next Sunday. She'll be online though. She won't be here physically. Margaret Bartley, good morning Margaret. Margaret's got an operation in a little few weeks' time, so we wish her well. Hope to see her at Hatbridge next week. Flynn, is that Flynn? Flynn D. Murphy, good morning and welcome. Claire Callback. Claire, hello, hope you're well. Welcome back. Izzy Ryan, thank you. Good morning and welcome. Julie Caswell, good morning. Hope you're well. My love to you all and the family. Trish Woods, good morning. Julie Caswell's daughter is doing the cancer walk from Chelsea Marsden to Sutton Marsden today. It's about 14, 15 miles, I think. No, 16 miles. 16 miles. They put an extra mile on the other week. Angela Ketchball, good morning. Lovely to see you. Elizabeth, good morning. How are you? Danielle, hello. It's lovely to see you here, being part of our church this morning. Kim, hello Kim. Hope you're well. Kim is one of our healers here at Wimbledon Church, and her mum is a minister out in Spain as a healer and medium as well. Laurie, hello. Hope you're well. Joe, hello, hope you're keeping yourself well. Kath, hello, how are you? We have one more. Hannah, hello, how are you? And that's good. We'll see some of your names come up during the service. I'm now going to ask James to come up, or Jim to come up and give the reading for this morning.
Good morning, everyone. The reading this morning is a spirit teaching. Go deeper within to find a simple truth and a sense of purpose to exercise your freedom, to express the humble qualities that you possess. For it is far easier to intake these compositions of a spiritual understanding rather than to find yourself in aggravation within self and the world you live in. There are still many strands on the shores of life to discover and appreciate. For if it is peace you want, then calm the mind. Or if it is in the education you still seek, then aspire the spirit to feed you and nature your and the weariness of a hard life as you discover an inner strength that you did not seem to have possible. Yet these are qualities you are born with, though some are able to discover them earlier than others. It is only because of their openness to life and a spiritual awareness that seems apparent, though even they may not always realize it at the time. These can be also seen to be blessings, and though they may be only a few, it is better to receive them than material unnecessary gains that will only clutter your outlook on life. Patience is also a key to unlock the door of your spiritual potential to the inherent gifts, which is inclusive of an unconditional love that comes from the Spirit, not of the flesh. By going deeper within, you will find the answers to the questions of a simple truth and a simple solution in satisfying and rewarding the soul.
Thank you.
Now called upon Ashley to give us the address for the morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Dad, and good morning, folks. Great to see you all. We did some hellos and welcomes online, but looking around the church, I certainly can remember at least half your names. As I see Lenka and Phil and Jim's, Owen, lovely to see you, and Sally and Ivor and Owen. I think we already said Stephen Kelly at the back there. And for those names I haven't mentioned, Phil, Shirley, I'm Daphne. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening tonight. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to. It's great to see you. It's great to see all of you online. It's great to see all of you here. It doesn't feel that long ago that we came from quite a different chapter. You know, I'm still picking up, I think, the pieces of understanding how it affects my own children and my own mental health. You know, my 7-year-old who loves his rugby was at a very big rugby festival a couple of weeks ago, and there were a few thousand kids there, and he wasn't really old enough to understand what the word anxiety means. But he started talking about feeling in his stomach and how he had a stomach ache and how he didn't want to be too close to people he didn't know. And he was using words, and I said, well, why not? You're playing rugby. He said, but what if they've got the virus, Dad? And you can sort of see that there's still those sort of fingerprints. And we'll be picking up those pieces. But it's important we do, because it's important we don't dwell on the back, the part, as the foundation. But we recognise the bits of our life, of our experiences that make up that foundation, because that foundation is where we build our superstructures. It's where we continue to grow. It's where we look for stability. And within spiritualism, there are so many different reasons for why people may come to spiritualist churches. As a medium of life, after that change we go through called death. As a healer, people come and see a healer because they're looking for that gift of healing. They're looking for that healer to act as that conduit to help them, mind, body, and soul. I'm studying to be a spiritualist minister, an ordained minister within spiritualism. And as part of my training for that, I've just completed the first element of the formal training as a spiritual counsellor. I've got some case studies and some work to do on that. And we've continued to ask that question of, why is it that people come to see you? And actually be that as a minister, healer, medium, counsellor, you need to understand which hat you're wearing. Last night, I was online on SPTV with my own show, Being Spiritual, a spiritualist philosophy show, where I talk about my belief. I always caveat that. This is my opinion. It's my opinion and my belief based on things that have come to me to be true. But it's also important that we all are able to make up our own decisions and our own mind. Talking to a few other people on the spiritualist counsellors courses, we spoke about one of the underlying reasons why new people might come into spiritualist churches. Now, I was lucky enough to, blessed in many ways, to have been born into spiritualism, brought up around it. But almost everyone else on my course had come into spiritualism at some point in their life. And for want of a better word, or a more fancier word, it's almost that sense of wanting someone to help. I want something sorted out. I want it to be fixed. I'm looking for a steer. I'm looking for a guidance. And for a lot of people that perhaps are now working within spiritualism, their first experience might have been coming into a church for a reading because they were asking for help or advice or a steer. So it made me think today about our address. It made me think about our spiritual goals, our spiritual growing opportunity. And as a good civil servant, I love a good acronym. So for me, GROW stands for something, and the G in goals. What is our goals? We need to make sure that we set ourselves the goals and we constantly revisit them to make sure. And there's another wonderful acronym within that goal that I love, which is make your goal a SMART goal. SMART and the S stands for that. Make it specific. What is it I want to do right now in my life? Or what is it I want to do in 5 years' time? The M as part of SMART is measure it. Because we so often forget to measure our success, to measure what we've already achieved. to look behind our shoulder, to see how far we've already come. The A in SMART stands for achievable. Make your SMART goal achievable, because if you don't, you'll constantly be chasing it and there'll be that feeling of disappointment. So know is what within your gift, within your destiny to a certain extent, but what it is you can actually achieve. If your goal is to be a human being that walks on Mars, there's a chance it could happen, but how realistic is it? There are things you can do. If your goal is going to be really specific, you say, in order to maybe meet that goal, I'm going to look at the fact that perhaps I would like to go and work for NASA or the European Space Agency or the UK Space Agency. And I know what type of jobs they have. I know to be an astronaut, you've got to be in the Air Force, for example. So it's about breaking it down, making it really specific. And then from a project point of view, it's about those milestones. It's about those individual goals. So make your goals really SMART, specific, make them measurable, make them achievable, and then that R in SMART, realistic. We've looked at how achievable it is. Now I need to look at what else is going on in my life. What else have I got? I've got 3 kids. One's 7 weeks old, one's 4, one's 7. I've got a busy job. I've got a busy spiritualist life serving churches, because the T in SMART is time. I've looked at now what it is specifically, how I'm going to measure it, how achievable it is, the reality and how realistic it is. And now timely, I'm going to look at the actual time, because otherwise we're always again looking for these goals in the future. So we start to think about that and we say, right, I am going to achieve this. It is very realistic. It's within my gift. I'm going to do it by this time. I will measure success by seeing how far I've gone along the way. So within that goal, and we're growing spiritually, do set goals, but set mini goals. Think of the big objectives and then think about what it is. Those of you that know me quite well, and those that can see me in the church today, know I'm very overweight. My weight is something that I have battled to overcome almost all of my life, psychologically as well as physically, because at times I compulsively overeat. I consume all of my feelings. Because I eat when I'm happy and I eat when I'm sad. I eat when I'm anxious and I eat when I'm not anxious. But my weight has bounced up and down. And for a long time, I've had goals around weight, around losing weight, and I often hit those mini goals. But like a yo-yo diet, every time I've lost a big chunk of weight, I've gained more. Now, I've set myself a target of living as long as humanly reasonable. And I know with my own weight that actually there is a chance that in the next 20 years, if I don't change my lifestyle, if I don't transform it, that I won't be around to see those kids growing up much longer. Because my doctors had a whole list of medical things that the NHS will have to deal with the impact of if I don't change my lifestyle. Because I eat too much and I eat the wrong types of food and I don't always exercise enough. So as part of me meeting those goals now, I've also accepted for the third time a referral for weight loss surgery. Now, I'm giving you something personal about me because I want to talk about the fact that I too have struggled to make my goals specific, to see how realistic things are. Once I've set my SMART goals and I break it down into pieces, part of me having the weight loss surgery is losing as much weight between now and the surgery as possible, to make the surgery as safe as possible. Part of it is recognizing that the surgery is a tool, not a solution. It is a tool to help me control my appetite, not the answer to my problems. I've been having to work on my mental health, cognitive behavior therapies. I've had to look at the reasons why I eat. And you don't need to look too far. You've got my dad next to me. We've got a family of healthy family style eating. And it's about recognizing all of those things. That's the reality check. So within our spiritual growth, the G, the grow, is our goals, and it's making them SMART. As we go back into grow, we look at R and we look at that reality check. Once we've made that specific goal, we're now going to focus on one. And we're going to look at the reality of today. What are all the things affecting me in my life? Where is it I need that divine intervention or that divine guidance? I'm looking at the reality of how far my own spiritual journey is. What is my own understanding of the universe? How does this all work? Am I looking at myself every day in the mirror and saying, you're going to love yourself one day, Ash? It's quite a nice affirmation to make, but it's always about the future. One day, Ash, you're going to love yourself. I need to start with, I love you. I love all of you. Maybe not just one of those little mirrors I can just about see my eyes. Maybe a full-length mirror where I need to start to love all of myself. And whatever your goal is, your affirmation needs to be about the now. Wishing yourself well is a good start. Seeing yourself as well, looking yourself in the mirror or within the mirror of the mind's eye, I am fit, I am well, is very different to I will be well. So the reality of what you're going in now, the reality of your situation, if you're going to need a lot of time or a lot of money in order to meet your goal, do you have the time and money? If you don't, go back to make the goal specific, because you're looking at that reality. And within the grow, we've now got our options. And this goes back to my principles that I love at this church as a spiritualist, and that is of free will and personal responsibility. Don't get me wrong, I am instinctively very lazy, and I want people to fix things for me. I want people to do things for me. I'm lucky enough to be married to my best friend that does 99% of all my cooking and shopping in order to do that. But actually, in terms of options, if we go back to me, I have options to be less lazy. I have options to dictate the shopping. I have options to go and do the shopping and choose ingredients. I have the options to pick up the fork and put it in my mouth. I have the options to take the children's food straight to the food recycling bin or to eat it on the way. All of those are options. All of that goes back down to personal responsibility. And within our spiritual growth, once we've defined those goals that we're aiming for, and we've done that sort of nice reality check of the now, in defining our options, we're kind of exploring the different things we want to do. Perhaps we'll find ourselves at a simple crossway in terms of next step. Do I zig or do I zag? Do I take the path of least resistance to the left? Do I take the unknown path to the right, which could lead to new opportunities? And as spiritualists, I do believe in the concept of a destiny, but with free will, with personal responsibility, I do recognize that any decision we make is part of that overall destiny. And even if those doors have taken us off in different directions, they are all part of the experience. They will all be part of our foundations that we spoke about at the very beginning. They'll all be where we build those superstructures to grow on. So define our options at a very simple level, then explore the benefits and limitations of them. What are all the good things that could happen if I take that path of least resistance? What are my hopes and fears? What if I went through that door? What's the worst thing that could happen? What are the benefits? And again, sharing with you personal about my weight loss experience, I didn't want to have an operation because I didn't want to die. The actual chances of dying in the operating theatre are actually extremely low. So the likelihood is very low. So I had to look beyond that because that was my excuse for a long time. The reality is if I don't change my lifestyle now, the likelihood of dying much earlier than I could do is much stronger. So then I had to look a bit deeper. And actually, as I was exploring those options, I've explored the options of weight loss, of big challenges. Many of you have donated towards the causes, towards the Stroke Association. I became one of the first UK stroke survivors to trek across the Sahara Desert. We as a church and community raised about £11,000 for that for the Stroke Association. And then 5 years later, I'd put on all the weight I lost and more. So I became one of the first UK stroke survivors to trek across the Great Wall of China. We raised thousands of pounds for St Raphael's Hospice. And then I put on more weight again. So in reality check, I've already looked at those options. And for me, my friends, this is really important because the doors are two-way. They're revolving. Many of our options aren't a, you must do that or that. We often have the opportunity to come back. Come back is not necessarily retreat. Call it tactical withdrawal if you want. That's what our military colleagues would talk about. You can use both doors. You can explore the options. Obviously, it depends on the time. You have to explore the options, often in a methodical way. When I looked at mine again, really, when I was worried about fears and consequences, I didn't really want to change my eating habits because I enjoyed eating big portions of food. I enjoyed eating when I wanted. I probably enjoyed it so much that I was creating that sensation, that chemical sensation of enjoyment and dopamine in my mind. And it was only by continuing to revisit my spiritual options, I then asked for my spirit friends and guides to help me. Because we all, I believe, at least one principal guide. And like Jimmy Cricket, they sit on our shoulder, helping us make those yes-no decisions, those zigzag decisions, those left-right decisions. But it's only within the silence of our minds, as we describe our goals, we think about the options. Can we invoke the assistance of something greater than ourselves? Knowing that we are, of course, part of it. We're all part of that divine experience. So there's our G, our grow, with a smart objective. There's our reality checks, and there's our options. The last part of that is will. Free will and your own will. Many of us would have experience of going to places, of seeking subject matter expertise, like I did with my doctor, and then going away and choosing free will to adhere to what they may or may not have said. For those of us that drive vehicles, we all would have received expert instruction from a driving instructor. We would have had formal tests around the highway code. And then very helpfully, people put up speed signs, don't they, to remind us. And we have the decision on whether or not we use that as a maximum speed, as an average speed, or a speed that we sometimes adhere to. All of this is free will. All of this is personal responsibility if something happens as a result of us not adhering to rules or laws or governments. But our willpower to take the next step, our willpower to surrender to something greater than ourselves, then that's when we can ask spirit friends, loved ones, guides to come close. But they're not there to tell us what to do. You could argue they're not even there to help. They're there to advise. Now, friends and family that live with us right now will have opinions. People like my nan, both my nans, very strong will, opinion people. And when in spirit now, I ask them for help, they will quite happily give me their opinions. And there's nothing wrong with that, because my nans wanted to help me while they were alive. They would want to help me from the spirit world. But I can't rely on that as spiritual divine help. It is the opinion of my nan in her life after the life she's had. Now, I personally take great comfort from getting her opinion, because I used to like ringing her up and asking for her opinion all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that. But remember, will. It is our free will to do what we do next. It is our free will to turn on that spirit antenna and see if we can attune to friends, family, and loved ones that are going to help us. But whatever you do, friends, do have some goals. Make them smart. Whatever reality you're going through, I hope that your journey and experience is one in pursuit of love and happiness. Doing things that make you happy with people you love. Thank you.
Now, friends, we come to that part of the service where Ashley will demonstrate the gifts of the Spirit. For you online, please remember, if you're saying yes or no to something, please say what you're saying yes or no to. If Ashley will try to come to people online, we can't guarantee it, because you can't guarantee any mediumship. If we could do that, we'd be possibly being fraudulent. But please listen online clearly and be precise. Ashley can see names coming up here. Also, for you in church, if you think Ashley's with you, just put your hand up. And if he doesn't see you, I will mention there is somebody else in the church. Again, please say yes or no. And if Ashley has described a man with a wooden leg and a parrot on the shoulder, yes, I know that person, or no, I don't. So just leave it as simple as that. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Mr. Ashley Robinson.
Thank you. Okay, so for those that haven't seen me work, pretty much as Dad said there, my job is to give you all evidence of life after life. And I've had a chat with the guide team today. We're hopefully going to work between the church and between the virtual congregation today. And I'll be asking your communicators to give me at least 3 or 4 bits of really good evidence of who they are. So before we get into any messages, I'll be looking for you to say yes to all of the evidence that they've given as you recognising who that communicator is. Okay. I've got a woman communicating with me. This woman talks about being family, okay? She is a nan, granny, nan. She is giving me the letter M, and I think she is making reference to the name Mary, and either she'd be communicating with a Mary, you'd understand the name Mary with her in the spirit world. This should be Nan. She has had problems around her heart, the left-hand side of her belly. Yeah, okay, thank you. Left-hand side of her body, her heart and her belly. She was talking about some pain and discomfort in her belly and the heart failure. So I'm looking for someone that would understand this woman, family, Nan. On Dad's side of the family, this would be Dad's mother. She's given the letter M, and then I believe the name Mary. She's talking about her passing with the heart failure. I think I'm going to be online for this message, and I'll either be looking for a Mary online or someone that would understand this communicator, Mary. Unless anyone in the church does, obviously do say, but I think they're taking me online. All of it?
Yes, apart from the
okay. Okay, I do think I'm online. Hang fire, because as they all enter the waiting room of heaven, you never know. If they're related to you in any way, Lenka, I'm sure they would push up to the front to make sure they were heard anyway. So let's just see where I am then. Okay, Pat can also take this as well. My grandmother named Mary. There's a few people online. Well, let me just give some more information. Lenka, listen to it as well to see if it is specific to you. I've got a Pat and a James that are taking a lot of this online. February is a significant anniversary, and I think it's an anniversary of their passing as opposed to an anniversary like a wedding or a birthday. Angela, you said your mum was Mary passed with a stroke. No, I don't think that's right. It would be something on your father's side of the family, and it would be to do with heart and this belly pain. Mark, mum and grandmother in spirit called Mary. I want you to take the extra things. Anyone online, it would be understanding February. And I feel like I'm not quite in the middle of February, but I'm towards the middle. I can see the numbers 1 and 4. I don't know if it's the 14th that they are talking about in February. I know it's Valentine's Day as well, because I've got the Valentine's Day cards, but I feel like I've got a reason to have marked a passing around Valentine's Day. James says grandmother named Mary died of heart failure with problems in the lungs as well. Okay, Jim. Okay, James. I think I am with James Finelli online then for this reading. Lenka, that doesn't mean that you don't have a communicator that's also blended information. So James, I will work with you. If you didn't understand what I just said about February, then you must say. But they were just saying they know you. They know you. Okay, right. Thank you. What do you want to say to James? Okay. Piano, right. James, they were just talking about jazz and a piano, and they were talking about calm. I bring calm. Yeah, so I am with James. Okay, I am still with James. Right, I've got this jazz, I've got this calm, and I want some rhythm, James. I want some rhythm with this lady, and she's trying to get you back on track. And I want you sort of thinking, and I want this rhythm. Okay, why are they doing that? Why are they I've got this beat, and they're really sort of insistent. It's like I feel a little bit out of joint, James. I feel a little bit. She's using the word do-dally. Everything's gone a bit do-dally, and I want to say that we're aware of your desire to return to a state of more consistent normality, James. And she's there. She's got some jazz music. There's a bit of piano, and she's just trying to give you a beat. She's like, keep marching. Keep marching to my beat. Keep marching to my beat. Follow me, because she's talking about you being very powerful, strong person. She's talking about your resilience, James. And she's talking about the fact that the average person would have tripped, would have slipped, would have fallen by now. And she's pushing you forward. She goes, keep moving, keep marching, follow that beat, follow that rhythm. So she wants to give you that stability, James. She's talking about you being aware of her, okay? She gives me this beautiful bunch of pink roses. And as in presenting these roses, she takes a single rose out, which is the largest, and places it towards the right-hand side. James, thank you for giving me, yes, that confirmation. And in doing so, in moving this rose to the right-hand side, she's talking about the bigger of the beautiful roses standing on its own. She's talking a little bit about you, and she's talking about siblings, and she's talking about a family collective. She said, not the odd one out, the brightest of the bunch. And she's showing, I was going to use the word preference. She said, no, you use it. There's this preference towards, she was very fond of you. James did understand that, but she's recognizing some differences that you had within the family. Okay. Your mother is one of your guides, yet good, so you understand that. And she's also talking about the fact then that this difference that she recognises has made you quite special. But she wants to take me back to when you were a very little boy, about you almost feeling a bit of an imposter, James, in your own skin, not always feeling like you fitted in. And she was like, you're not meant to fit in. You're understanding more of that now in the way that you're working, forward. Okay, I've got my next link coming in. James, siblings, cousins, yeah, okay, thank you for that confirmation. James, she sends you, she loves. She says, ultimately, you know you've got this. I've taken the opportunity to come and tell everyone at Wimbledon today that you've got this. I've got the beat, I've got the rhythm. Keep on walking, keep on marching. I love you, okay? James, with that, take her love and mine. Thank you very much. Right, I think I'm going to be in the church now. I was just getting links to Denmark. They were talking about links to Denmark, and I'm trying to understand more about that now. I've got a man that's communicating with me. As this man has passed, he's talking about lungs. I've got what, thank you, like a pneumonia type condition, but he's giving me the letter C. C is often symbolic for a cancerous type condition. So, folks, I'm now with someone in the church. Someone in the church would understand this man, family that has passed with this cancerous type conditions that affected his breathing, his lungs, and I feel like I've even got fluid on my lungs. Denmark was of relevance to the communicator as he was just talking about it. Denmark. Bubbles. And he was just talking about bubbles, right? Anyone in the church understand this? You don't understand the Denmark, okay? But you'd understand a man, spirit world, cancerous type condition. Let me see if I can give you another piece of information that would make sense. I've got a summer birthday, July. Okay, my granddad was 16. I went before the 16th of July, around the beginning of July, as a birthday, something that you and I would both know a birthday to recognise and celebrate. July. Is it around the 7th of July? And is it James's birthday? You understand, James? Yeah. Okay. And James, between you and this communicator, whose family? Right. The communicator's not blood. Okay. Well, I don't think I am with you. Right. I know I said I am in the church, but if anyone online would understand this man that's communicating with this cancerous type condition, lungs, his family, he was just talking about James. He was talking about a July birthday around the 7th of July. So online, folks, I'll just plant that seed for a moment, and I'll come back online because I want to stay within the church. At the back, you understand? You take the 7th of July. Okay, it's Jill, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. No, Jill, can I work with you? Because I was determined I'm in the church with this one. Is it okay if I work with you? Okay. And for those online, Jill was saying that she understood the links to Denmark, the birthday in July the 7th, and the link to James. Father was James. And the communicator that's talking, you'd understand. You didn't know the cause of passing. Okay. Right, and your dad's cause of death, don't tell me the answer, but do you know how he passed? Would you have understood why he would have taken me to his lungs as a life-limiting condition at the end of his life? Okay, if it's okay, I'm prepared for you to challenge me. We can ask them why you're wrong.
I think the lungs would link with other things.
Okay. With the cancerous type condition, symbolic when I'm asking Spirit for evidence, the C is often symbolic of a growth, an infection. With him, I sort of see failure. It's like I've got catastrophic failure all over my body, but around the chest, I feel this has limited me before I have passed. This has slowed me down, and my chest has not felt strong to really take in what he's calling 2 decent lungs of breath. And this would have been final chapter of life. Would you have understood that with your father? Okay, right. Then I'll work with you, Jill, if that's okay. Right. Okay. For those who don't know, I know Jill very well. I've been lucky enough to have you in my life, almost all of my life, which is wonderful. So there are bits of things I know about you, your family. You definitely couldn't pick me up now, Jill. But I'm asking them to give me really specific things. So if there is something that I say to you that I would have just known, like I know you have a son called Timothy, so I'm not going to allow Spirit to give that. If I give you something and you say, Ash, you could have known that, you tell me, okay? I'm relying on you now to make sure that Spirit giving me extra evidence for you. Okay, right, thank you. So, right. I'm not going to mention that because you know who I will talk about, but we are actually having a duet, okay? The important thing of this duet is the harmony, is the unity, because I want to recognize the fact that with this person, we weren't the sort of people that would have been well twinned and timed together. I want to talk about a coming of families, okay? So there is also someone in the spirit world, Jill, that you'll know very well, that would have sung with a guitar. And what they're saying is that when this person entered the spirit world, the important thing for me to tell you today is that we are in harmony, we are in unity, because it felt like, if you talk about our human experience, we were together, but we weren't always on the same page. In fact, this man claimed to be your father, is saying we weren't necessarily always on the same side, let alone the same team. Okay, right, so you understand what he's saying. But he's talking now about harmony. He's talking about unity, and he's talking about the fact that I've had my chest poked by him. He has challenged the status quo. And I want to say, this man that's communicating, that's claiming to be a father, is talking about the fact that he needed to perhaps be put outside of his box, okay? As I know, I'm taking a step back, and I'm accepting the fact that as your father, there were detriments of my character. And I didn't have this challenged while I was alive. In fact, I made it quite difficult for people to do so. And I want to say that when they entered the spirit world, I was one of the first people they come for. And I was poked in the chest, and the challenge of the status quo was made. Okay, and I recognized the detriment of my characters. I also saw real growth and strength of the character from your partner that I hadn't recognized while I was alive. They put me in my place. And as I recognized the detriments of my character, it's too late now to say sorry, but you know that I am sorry, and I'm answering for them. Okay, celebrating the July birthday, I feel we've got a big reason to celebrate coming on. Okay, so you said this was son's birthday, and I know his son. In fact, I think I mentioned his name a minute ago. But what they're saying to me is there is this real new start. I've got new beginnings. I've got this green. Aloe vera, okay? They're showing me the green seedlings of aloe vera starting to grow. And with the aloe vera comes some help, some nourishment, okay, some wellness. And what I want to say with them is that as we approach birthday, there is reasons to celebrate new books, not just new chapters. It feels like there's some new things growing. And again, would you understand that? Yeah. Well, they've got everything crossed up here in the journey, and they can to nourish it. And that's why they're talking about seeds being planted. Like, this isn't something that's just going to happen. It's already started. They want to recognize that something that's already started, seedlings are growing, we're nourishing it, we're water, sun, everything we can do is being done. And we recognize there is some real, there is this powerful sense of unconditional love coming from you, directed at it, to the detriment of the other seedlings either side of it. It's like, I am giving energy for this, and I want this to work. They're recognizing that too. And they're talking about that powerful, unconditional love that is going to give it every best opportunity. Okay. I had a joke with Richard, our producer, the other day, as spiritualists. We so often say, we don't do fortune telling, and then usually we finish that with a but. Well, I'm going to say we don't do fortune telling because as mediums, we're not very good at it. That's why we don't do fortune telling. We also don't do fortune telling because future is not totally written. There are elements of it. And what he's saying is, based on the position that I can see, I've got a good advantage point. I can see a slightly bigger picture. I can see all the moving pieces. And I like to believe, so this is his opinion, I like to believe that it's all heading in that right direction. We've got a good feeling. I've got a good feeling. And I'm doing everything I can. Frustrating for me, he's saying, okay, thank you. That's quite philosophical. I'll share that with everyone. Right, thank you. In heaven, I snap my fingers, I can get it done straight away. Power of thought, it's a place of pure thought, it's done. Snapping my fingers up here doesn't quite work as well down here, but I can influence. This is why I'm reliant on you, my instrument, and my instruments around you, okay? Love. He sends you his love. Exciting times ahead. All right, thank you, Jill. So that way, right. I think I will be online with the next message. Okay, thank you. Why are you taking me in? Okay, this next communicator, as they're coming in, they were saying, look at the time, look at the time. The time is upside down and on the square. What are you saying? Okay, so I'll be communicating online with this person, and I think that I've got someone that I've got a man communicating. As this man communicates with me, folks, he talks about being a friend of the family. Okay, so I don't think I'm a family link, I'm a friend of the family, and he is calling it a fraternity. I was part of a fraternity which I was known for, and I knew your father in particular. We were in the same, he's talking about a lodge. I don't know if this is a Masonic link that he's talking about. So it'd be a fraternity or a club or society, certainly of sorts. Someone online, you would understand this as a friend of the family that's initially started as a friendship with your father. This man has passed sudden with heart failure. And as he links me, he talks about this fraternity. And the reason he kept taking me to this clock, he was trying to create the sensation of being 9 p.m, okay? And he's talking about it being an opportunity for a drink, an opportunity for a toast. And he said it's upside down, but it is, we are on the square. This person, although not that long ago, I don't know if they, okay, thank you. Right, they would have, if they'd been alive, they would have been in their 80s now. Similar age, I believe, to your father. So this would be someone that recognised, friend of the family, perhaps it would have been in their 80s, but I want to go back a few years to when they passed, an October, autumn passing with this person, and he talks quite old-fashioned, quite posh. He says, I was a toff, I was quite posh talking, but not posh doing, and he said, somewhere it was 9 o'clock at the Empire, so it's time for a drink. Right, so there's your evidence, folks. I'll be looking for someone to understand this man, probably a friend of the family that's passed with heart failure, that would have linked via dad, and we were part of the same club. I mean, he keeps using the word lodge. I do think this is a Masonic link that he is coming in. So let's see if got anyone online accepting that in a moment. Yeah. Right. Let me see if I can get a name. It'd be a Brenda or a Bernie, or I think it's Brenda, because I keep hearing I'm looking for someone online that possibly has a name beginning with B. I think it's a woman, so I think I'll be communicating with a woman that would understand this friend of the family. Mary says, could it have been a fishing club? Wee whiskey after 9, yes, similar age, right. I don't know, he just said he doesn't know you, Mary. So I don't think it's you. Come on, tell me who it is then. I think I'm with a Brenda or a Bernie. Give him the one. I think it's Brendy. Mary, you say he's well spoken. So you do understand this communicator. Don't know. Mary, in order for you to be in, you would need to understand this link to the letter B as well. This Brenda or this Bernie. My peer, keeps calling her my peer. You can't take Brenda. Would you understand everything else?
Yes. Apart from, I think it was in May of October, but it was a neighbour, my father's friend, that were in a club and died when I was
Thank you, Lenka. I don't think it is. Right, let me separate this Brenda. Okay. Godmother. Right. Why do you keep showing me that? Right. This man is making reference to. I know a Brenda and a Bernie. Okay, that's why where I got the names from, because they were showing them to me, and I'm asking about the significance, Mary. So, Mary, if you would still understand this, you'd understand this communicator. I've got links to friends on the South Coast. Okay. You can take Bernadette, Bernie, okay, and that's the link with Bernie I've got to the South Coast that would be there. Yes, right, okay. Rather than him saying he doesn't know you, Mary, he was saying he didn't know Brenda, right? Okay, thank you. Brenda was a godmother of mine and my sister's that kept dogs. And I think it was just, she's up there as well. They were just making reference to this lovely dog. Was it Pepe? Was that Brenda's dog, Pepe?
Pepe, yeah.
Yeah, Pepe. Okay. So I think he's also making reference, Mary, to a dog that my old godmother Brenda has brought along with her dog Pepe. But you take Bernadette, and you can take everything else. And it's fishing, and I've got the fun of fishing toast. 9 o'clock toast, and you can take the South Coast. Okay, thank you very much, Mary. As I link in with you then, and I'm glad all the other evidence has then made sense, you'd understand that this man, as a sort of bit of a posh talker, was also quite fun. He was very engaging, Mary. I did enjoy it. Okay, thank you. I wasn't one to want the limelight, but he's like, but darling, when I had the limelight, I enjoyed it. And he's talking quite theatrically, as if I would take my moment. And I would enjoy it, particularly with a sort of toast of a drink. I feel I could speak quite eloquent, I could speak well, and I could deliver my voice. So he's talking about the fact that, yeah, ordinarily shy man that could come up and take centre and stage. And there is this wonderful buzz and theatrical side to his life. That he gives me this sort of sense across, and that he calls me darling, and he toasts this glass, Mary. Mary, he also talks about the fact that the curtains have not yet closed for you. And as he was linking with this theatrical element, he was talking about the act, the final act. He's talking about you preparing for this final act. I think this is linked to something educational or academic, because he's talking about academia, and he's talking about the final act. As if there's been some investment, there's been some learning and development, and he's talking about this final act, about it all coming together. He was a very interesting man, and he could hold an audience. Thank you, Mary, for that confirmation. So for you, keep up with the investment. I don't think this is directly with you, Mary. I don't know if there's if you have a young man in your life, I want to call him a boy, but no, he's a young man. But you'd understand, Mary, this investment into education, to academia, and around it coming to the final act. You say that he loved the local drama group. Thank you for that confirmation, Mary. And yes, I'm excited. I'm excited as we approach this final act. And it seems like it's going to be worth it. We now need to see there's an element of the experience from the audience experience on how this is going to be well received. And I do think I'm still linked within academia, because he's talking about almost like some sort of external verification, this experience. You're saying he was always interested in education. Just got to wait and see now. Everything that has been done and will be done. And it's like, now let's just enjoy the final act. It's going to be quite a show. He's talking about the fact, okay, thank you, that he continued to be around you and the family, to watch the family grow. Okay, he's just talking about fishing. He was pleased. Yeah, okay, thank you. He was pleased to realise that there was fishing up here. He was less pleased to find out that the fish were fishing him out of the pond, and he were getting their revenge. And he's talking about the fact that his understanding of that. Now, this isn't disrespectful to anyone that does fish. He is telling me that he has learnt that there was some suffering to animals as a part of fishing, which he never attributed to. And he's talking about being picked up by what felt like a fish. By the mouth, and he said it really hurt. He said I didn't even have a body, and then I realised it wasn't actually a fish doing it. It's all in my mind. He said I've created this trial of my own making. This is me. This is my higher self, Mary, talking about the way I lived my life. And I don't have any regrets of the things I do, but I now understand more about it. Mary says he's talking about my son and how he's climbing the ladder in work. Absolutely. Good stuff to him. 3 points of contact, slowly, steadily, onwards, upwards, Mary. Very excited about that. Talks about the fishing for no other reason. We're not trying to convert anyone that does do any fishing, although I'm sure if my dad had the opportunity as an active vegetarian would tell us we shouldn't do it. He's saying he has learnt things about this side of the world, and he doesn't regret it. He doesn't regret anything that he did, but he has created a bit of a judgment for himself in lifting himself up by the cheek. Right, consciousness, yes. The consciousness is different, but it's all energy. He said we're all part of this great divine, all part of this great spirit. You think you've just seen him as well, Mary? Okay, thank you for that confirmation. Keep going. He's got it. Very proud of him. Mary, he sends you his love, and I send you mine. Thank you very much, Mary. That was your message. Okay, right. I'm going to be back in the church for this one. Right. I've got someone here communicating with me, and they're like doing almost, it feels like Morse code. What is he doing? What is it, man? I don't know. Come on, what are you trying to say? Why are you doing this? SOS, you need help. Right. Okay, I've got someone communicating with me now, and they are tapping away, and they're talking about SOS. SOS. Save our soul. Save our soul. What are you talking about? Okay. Right. Communicates with me. Talks about being friend and family. Right, I've got someone here that has passed in tragic and accidental circumstances. Right, sounds really strange. I'm not sure I'm in the church now. He might be trying to take me away. I've got someone that's communicating with me that is talking about... Okay, I think they've been in an aircraft just before they've died. And there has been some problems. Was it many of us on my own? Okay. I've got a man that's talking about being in an aircraft on his own just before he had died. I understand this engine failure. As I said, no, they're not in the church. Not that long ago, right? I was going to say with the Morse code, we're going back to like World War II, and he was like, no, I was just messing around with you. I had a radio. Very funny guy. He's a bit of a practical joker. He was just trying to see if he could get me to do something silly. Right. I think I will be online, and you'd understand this man that is communicating as past, he says, in accidental, tragical circumstances. I don't know if I'm communicating with a Steve or a Stephen here. You would understand that name. It's certainly significant. And I'm across the pond. I'm over in the United States of America, I think. Okay. Lady, you understand everything I've just said? Okay. What's your name, please? Marie. Marie, is it okay if I work with you? Okay. I was in the church. Shouldn't doubt the guards. The guards are saying this. Would you understand this communicator? He's a very fun man. It's like, I took risks for fun. I enjoyed my life. I wasn't reckless, but every single thing was a deliberate act of a deliberate experience. You understand that? Okay. And he takes great pride in communicating with you. He's very fond of you, gives you a big hug and cuddle, and he wraps his arms around you. He says, you know, I loved you. You'd understand this practical joke. He said, even when the engine stopped working, I wasn't worried. I wasn't a panicker. Okay. Yeah. Right. Let me just check that because you've said something. You were in the aeroplane while he died in an accident. And he tried to get a message to you. No one could get hold of you. You didn't get the message till you landed.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And that's what he's trying to say. He died in the tragic accident on his own. Yeah. You were in a plane, and I've got across the water. Yeah. Okay, right. That's where the link makes in. And we were trying to get in touch with you. It's important. We were very close. And it was some time after I'd actually died that you found out about it. Yeah, okay, right. That's the reference he's making to. Fun guy, really fun guy. Even the tapping and the messing around with that. Although there was something around captain. I think someone wanted to get in touch with the captain of the aircraft, and he's talking about this radio because they wanted you to know, and there was nothing could be done. He's talking about being with you. Cold. Something didn't feel right. And he's talking about you almost, you didn't know what to expect, but when you were told, you felt back. It was like you flashed back to the moment, and you could almost know the moment that I had passed while you're on the plane. You were aware of it. Okay? And he's just talking about because I tried to come to you. When I knew they couldn't get hold of you, I realised I could be there, and I wanted to tell you. And I was tapping the captain on the shoulder. Okay. And I was trying to get their attention, but I realised that this was quite hard to do. He said, I'll go on the poltergeist course next week and I'll find out how to have done it a bit better. But he's taking some fun with it because for him, even death's not serious. It's just another experience. And I want to let you know that my personality absolutely lives. It lives on and it carries strong. But I do want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the way that you found out. And it spoilt the experience that you were about to have. And I'm sorry about that. When I realised I couldn't because I wanted you to know that I wasn't where you thought I'd be. And then when you did find out, I'd almost wished you didn't find out then, that you'd found out another time, okay? Because I realised the effect it had on you. But I also wanted to scream and shout about the fact that I wasn't dead. I was right there. But I said I realised that that's what they call death. There's death of my body. But I am here. My soul lives on. My experience lives on. The picture. I like the picture of me, a handsome one, next to the candle. Yeah, the candle's on the right-hand side. I was a handsome boy. And he's just talking about the fact I like that picture. I really like that picture. It's a battery-powered candle. He was talking about, he's showing me almost like a light bulb, like switch on a thing. He's just talking about like my own little memorial. I've got lots of little memorials everywhere, and I like it when this is all done together at the same time. I'm aware. Helping. You are helping people. The job, the role you do. You are so caring, and you help so many people, emotionally as well as physically. And I'm so proud of you, he says. I'm so proud of what you do for others. You're one of the most unselfish people I know. And you often do this at the expense of you. You'll burn yourself right out to help others. And I want to let you know that I'm trying to top you up and keep you going because you do so much good. He said, I'm aware of the concept of what I will now, I will refer to them as angels. He said, but you're an angel that walk among us for the good that you do. And I want to recognize the fact that although we were friends and I have a lot of love for you, you also had a bit of fixing to do with me. I was a complicated creature and you made me very simple. And I want to say that my love for you and the way I felt about you would have been better described in the words I used, but you know how I felt. Okay. So like a little disc, looks like maybe a little St. Christopher or something that he was just talking about. A little metallic metal, grey metal coloured disc. I think it's got a saint on it. Just talking about this grey metal chain with a little disc on, with a little St. Christopher or something he was just making reference to. You understand that? Mine. I used to wear it. In the picture. I'm wearing it in the picture. Okay, Sam? Fine chain. 44. Just mentioning 44, 4 and a 4. And if he's doing it twice, so I get the significance of the number 4. Maybe it looks like a door or something. I've got this 4 written on a door, and he's just given me some reference around the number 4. House where I lived. There's a house where I lived at number 4. Okay, he was just talking about that. Brown door. Okay, thank you, friend. Take his love and mine, Marie. Thank you. That was your message. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity to demonstrate one of those. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ash, for being here, both online and here in the church. Just to remind those who are part of Wimbledon Church, here on a Wednesday, we have our Friendship Club, which is 11 till 2. Spiritual healing on Thursdays is 10 till 12. I'm looking over for advice. I've not had a complaint, so that's good. And Dawn Collinson Quarry is doing a class here on a Tuesday evening, which is 7:30 till 9-ish, 8:30. So that's here every Tuesday night. Also, friends that are online and here in the church, there's so much going on SPTV's channels. So please look at, there's a lot going on today and tomorrow. Join SPTV, become a patron, help SPTV spread the word. And also those of you who are able to vote online for the Spiritual Achievement Awards that SPTV is running at this moment of time.
The church has been nominated.
And I believe the church has been nominated, and someone told me the other day I've been nominated.
Yeah, for a Lifetime Achievement.
Lifetime Achievement Award. That means Ashley nominated me for the Lifetime Achievement, so I can retire and he can take over. That's a joke. That really is a joke. So thank you all very much, and those who have nominated me, I express gratitude and thank you very much indeed. My dad had one similar, which is just behind me here, and he was very moved by that as well. Friends of Wimbledon Spiritualist Church and our divine service, I bid you a good morning. I now ask Ashley to close our meeting with prayer.
Please join me, folks, as we close in prayer. It is with love and joy in our hearts that we ask for a blessing upon the service this morning and for the church family, the congregation, online and in person. If you have travelled here today, may you have a safe journey home. The committee and the helpers, may they remain mindful of their obligations for keeping these doors open. We acknowledge all of the hard work done at this church and at SPTV with our production team. We thank God and our spirit friends who blessed us with their presence and their companionship. And we ask a blessing upon all homes that are represented here and online and the families therein. So we depart according to and leave this church in peace. Amen.
Both seen and unseen today, I wish you a good morning. Have a great afternoon. God bless you all until we meet again. Stay with SPTV and help get the message across not just England, Wales and Great Britain, but the whole world. Because the message of spiritualism and spiritual life is an important aspect, and the work that SPTV does is doing a grand job. Thank you all very much. God bless you all, seen and unseen. Bye.
Spiritual Psychics TV is hosting the first annual recognition of achievements, acknowledging those who dedicate their lives to a spiritual act of kindness. Spiritual Psychics TV, bringing spiritual people together.
Spiritual Psychics TV presents an holistic fair on Saturday the 11th of June. offering the best in spiritual readers and market stalls. Join us from 10 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. Throughout the day there will be many stalls such as natural polished crystals and stones, qualified complementary therapists offering spiritual healing. This exciting day is being held at the Waterlooville Community Centre, with plenty of free parking. A wide range of handmade products including candles, oils, jewelry, naturally organic and vegan soaps, creams, and bath bombs. Not forgetting the kids, we have face painting and a bouncy castle to enjoy all day. For those who are interested in potions, spells, and essentials oils, then we have a stall for you here as well. Maybe you're looking for a reading, be it mediumistic, palm, or tarot. 11 readers are available throughout the day. Refreshments such as drinks and light snacks are being provided by the 1940s Tea Room from Havant. Plenty of free workshops, talks, and a demonstration of mediumship are also planned during the day. For more information, please visit mbs.spiritualpsychicstv.online.